Enjoy a good stretch this morning. I need a good stretch. Too much time sat down last week, if there's such a thing. Alright, ladies. So coming down to the floor first of all and into a seated position. So let's get some movement through the back first, and we're going to progress through the hamstrings and through to the hips. So hands onto your knees. Pull up through the top of the head. Feel tall. Feel relaxed through the shoulders and lengthen through the neck. Just starting to ease into a gentle roll back. Allow your spine to curve. Tuck in the chin here, and as you come forward, just pull back up through the top of the head. Breathe in as you're ready to roll back. And then breathe out as you ease forward, and again grow tall at the top. In through the nose. Out through your mouth. And just starting to warm back up and loosen through the spine. As you come forward, try and grow a little bit taller. So it just creates that little bit more extension of the spine and a little bit more space again between each vertebrae. And let's go with one more. Breathe in as you ease back, and then breathing out as you come forward. Now from here, let your hands slide to your knees, tuck your chin in and draw your belly button back towards your spine. Then gently push your heart forward and lift. So again, drawing the belly button back towards the spine, eyes towards your thighs, and then pushing your heart forward and lifting your heart up. So again, just feeling the movement of the back. Never forcing it, just allowing it to come through the spine bit by bit. And a couple more there. So coming into your last one, and then we're going to work our way down onto the floor. So your hands come back to your knees. When you're ready, tuck under the bottom and roll down onto the floor. Bring your hands to your shoulders and let your elbows point up to the ceiling. Bringing the feet in a little closer, keeping the feet hip distance. When you're ready, just breathe in, open the elbows wide and open your chest. And then breathe out, press the shoulders down to the floor, just squeeze the elbows back in. Breathe in, open the front of the chest and the shoulders, and then breathe out, squeeze back into the middle. Let the breath just ease in through your nose, and then out through your mouth. Now start to feel the ribs expanding, the rib cage opening. And as you breathe out, press the back of the ribs down to the floor. And again, breathe in, open the ribs, open the chest. And then breathe out, squeeze back into the middle. And just a couple more. It's a nice one just for the breath. As you bring the elbows into the centre, just start to draw little circles with the elbows, starting small, and then just gently allowing those circles to get bigger. You're just circling the elbows, trying to get the back of the ribs down on the ground, breathing in as you open them, and then breathing out to scoop back into the centre, and then changing directions from the centre. So taking the elbows the opposite way around. And again, just feel the movement around the shoulders. Never forcing it, just allowing it to come into the shoulders. Feeling the breath in and letting it go. And your last one. Elbows rest in the centre, pointing to the ceiling. Then your hands reach up to the ceiling. You're going to try and touch the ceiling with your fingertips so you feel the shoulders lift off the floor, and then pull the shoulders back down onto the ground so you feel the shoulder blades touch. Again, push it with the hands, both shoulders lift, and then pull the shoulders down to the floor. So this is just starting to stretch the little muscles around the shoulder blades. Push it with fingertips, and pull back the shoulder blades. A couple more again. And then this time, as you pull your shoulders down to the floor, reach the arms back over the head, and then you're going to circle with the elbows. So you're going to pull the elbows down towards the ribs, reach into the ankles, and then up and over the head. Palms turn to the ceiling, so that helps to open the chest. And you're trying to let your elbows skim along the ground. Breathing as they lift. Breathing out, feel the shoulder blades, the elbows pull right down to the ribs. And each time to let your arms feel a little heavier. So almost again just skimming them along the ground. Always feels nice into the chest, does that one. And it's that nice, I'm going to do a couple more. And then your next one, your last one. You can let the arms stay out wide to the side. So once you take the arms wide, palms up, shoulders draw back. And from here, just let your head turn. So you're looking down towards your right arm, and then turn so you're looking down to your left arm. Now as you're turning the head, I want you to keep the chin just slightly nodded in. So you've got the length into the neck, and that's going to help to allow more rotation in a safe position into the neck. And bit by bit, you might notice you can turn your head a little bit further. And a couple more each way. And then as you do your last one to your left, you can bring your eye gaze back into the centre. So eye gaze up towards the ceiling. Right, let's get the knees moving next. So your right knee, you're going to work with our can-can. Mr. Can-can. Knee comes above your hip. Kick your leg forward, pull the knee above the hip, and then reach up towards the ceiling. Now, even if you're taking the leg out to a diagonal, that's absolutely fine. The main thing is that you're trying to straighten the leg each time. Now again, as you feel comfortable, you might notice you get your leg a little higher. When you're trying to straighten the leg, squeeze into the front of your thighs, so it's engaging your quads and it's encouraging the hamstrings to stretch. Now we're going to start to get into the calves more. Dig in with your heel. It's like you're digging your heel up to the ceiling. Breathing out every time you extend the leg. So as you breathe out, that's encouraging the muscles to stretch more. And just give me a couple more. And then your last one. And bring your foot down onto the ground. From here, keeping your left knee still, just let your right knee drop towards the floor. So you're bringing a stretch on the inner thigh and then bringing the knee back into the centre. Now as you move your right knee, you're trying to keep that left knee perfectly still. So it helps to gently press your tailbone down to the floor and imagine you've got a glass of water balanced on your left knee. Breathe in as you allow the right knee to drop, out breath to bring it back into the centre. Now as the knees drop in, you need some stability through the ribs. So you gently press the back of the ribs down to the floor. You always let your hand rest on the ribs so you're aware that when the knee lowers, the ribs don't push upwards. Breathing as you ease down, out on the way back up. And if you want to bring a little bit more stretch onto the inner thighs, you can bring your knee above your hip and then let the knee drop out to the side. And again, as you're moving that right knee, trying to keep your pelvis, your ribs still. A little bit of engagement needed through your core to keep everything nice and grounded. A couple more. And then resting. So bringing your foot back down to the floor, and let's do that with the left knee. So your can-can first. Knee in, push away through your toes, pull the knee in, and then kick up. And each time you kick, a little squeeze into the front of the thigh. So it's encouraging more length right down the back of your thigh. Now core connection. Whenever you're ready, you start to dig into your heel. It's like you're pushing your heel up through the roof and toward the edge of your mat. My leg's a little stiff today. So this is quite a nice one to do. Find the breath. Breathe out as you go into that stretch. And a couple more. And then we can take it back into the hips, into the knee drops. So bring your left foot down to the floor to begin with. Keep the right knee still. Let your left knee drop to the side and then ease it back into the centre. Again, as you're moving, the left knee, you're trying to keep the pelvis in place. So gently pressing the tailbone into the ground is going to help to stabilise your pelvis. And notice that as your knee drops, the hips don't rock over to the left. Try to keep them as still as possible. Still got that little connection with the upper abdominals holding that rib cage down. If you want to add a little bit more, bring the knee above the hips, you've got more weight into the leg. And the knee to drop down towards the ground. And breathe in. In as you lower the knee, out on the way back up. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And again, just letting the leg feel a little heavier each time. So it's giving the muscles a chance to stretch and lengthen. Give me 2 more here. Still feeling that tailbone anchored onto the floor. And then resting, bringing your feet down. Pixie rolls next. So hold onto your knees, tucking your chin, take a little roll forward. And then as you roll back, cross the feet in the opposite direction and ease forward. Now when you come forward, control the movement forward, don't let the head drop to the floor. I want to feel a nice stretch coming into the spine. Let the hands come just outside the knees. And then gently encouraging the head a little further forward if you can. Let's have a couple. On your next one, as you come forward, hopefully your right foot is in front of your left, and we're going to come into seated. So stay in this seated position with the right foot in front. We're going to start with the left arm. Both hands out wide, pin your fingers to the floor, and then circle your left arm. We're reaching forwards, and then we're rolling the shoulder back. Try and turn your eye gaze up towards your elbow as your elbow points to the ceiling. And again, just by an extra little turn of the head, it's going to help to bring more stretch into the shoulder. That's nice. Breathing in with the lift and out to let it go. Breathe in and give me 2 more. With your last one, as you roll the shoulder back and down, hands onto the floor, and then we're going to ease into side bends, one way and then the other. Now as you're rocking from side to side through the upper body, there should be no rocking in the hips. The hips should be nicely anchored to the floor. Let one hand come down and let the opposite arm reach a little further. Almost become a little bit heavier each time. Breathing out through the mouth. In as you ease down. And a couple more each way. I like that one. Last one with the right arm sweeping over and then resting in the centre. Push the hands into the floor and pull your spine up tall. Left hand to your right knee. Right hand reaches behind the back. It presses down to the floor like you're trying to make yourself a little taller. The left hand presses against your thigh to encourage rotation. Now think about the length of the spine, pull up to the crown of the head. Slight nodding with the chin and that little look back over your shoulder. Breathe in and grow taller if you can. And when you feel ready, breathing out to revolve. And then coming back into the centre. Take your feet wide. Just a little bit wide in the hips. Hands outside the hips, and we're going to rock the knees to the right. Bring your left hand to your right shin, and then again changing sides. So just reaching across. Try and press the knee down to the floor, and look back over your shoulder at the same time. Breathing out through the mouth as you ease into that twist. Always end up coming forward with my mat when I do that one. And a couple more each way. And we're going to finish on the right hand side. So as we move into the hips now. So we're encouraging both knees down to the floor. And knees both at 90 degrees, so you can pull that left knee back a little so your left knee almost points directly forwards. Left hand to your ankle and right hand just above your knee. Just gently easing forward and back to begin with. Now as you ease forward, try to keep the rib cage lifted. So we're not rounding the upper back to come down. The more you keep the back straight, the more you're going to feel that coming into your hips. And you're never forcing the movement. Just feeling a mild stretch each time you lower. Let your breath go as you sink forwards. Breath in as you lift. And a couple more. And stop. As you come forward this time, maybe bring the hands forward, maybe bring your elbows down to the floor. If you're just on your hands, that's fine. Try and square your shoulders, push your heart forward, and then maybe walk your hands a little further forward and keep lifting your rib cage. Or, again, deepen the stretch by bringing your elbows down onto the ground. Once you're here again, think about the breath. Just letting your breath travel all the length of your spine. As you breathe out, you're just letting yourself sink a little bit deeper, pressing the right knee down into the floor. And again, gently pushing your ribcage forwards. Whenever you've had enough, you can just walk your hands back in and come back into the centre. So we're going to do that sequence again on the other side. So we took the right foot in first this time, and the left in front of the right. So knees are wide, hands by the hips, roll the shoulders back, and then from here, lean into your left hand and just start to circle with that right shoulder. You can feel your body moving. Start small, then you can make it bigger, and almost feel like you're pulling the elbow down towards the back of the rib. Have a little glance up towards the elbow. Oh, that's nice to the chest. Nice to the front of the shoulder. So again, feeling the breath. Your in-breath lifts the arm and then let it go. And give me 2 more shoulder circles. Oh. And as you roll the shoulder back, hands on the floor, and we go back to those side bends each way. Now again, as we're moving from side to side, we're trying to keep the hips anchored. So gently pressing the bottom down to the floor, and the arm come towards the ear. Letting the ear come towards the shoulder, but still keeping the hips super glued to the ground. Oh, that's a nice one. A couple more each side again. And then with your last one, your left arm, and hands come down to your thigh, your right hand comes across to your left knee. Press against the left knee, pull the left shoulder back, press the left hand into the floor so you're becoming taller, and then gently turning. So using the right hand as a little lever, pressing against that left thigh, just to encourage a little bit more rotation through the spine. But never to a point again where it's uncomfortable, just feeling the stretch all the way up the length of the spine. And again, the taller you stay, the better. The more rotation you can find. Go with 3 more, no rush. 2. And your last one. And resting. Hands come wide. Take the knees wide again. Let's just roll from side to side. Reach to your right shin, and then reach over to your left. Turn the head, have a look back over your shoulder. So again, as we're moving into the hips, we're also allowing that movement to come all the way up the spine. Feeling the twist of the spine. Feeling the rotation into the neck. So trying to glance back over your shoulder each time. 2 more each way. And then we're going to do that little sequence on the left hand side. So the next time you come over to the left, stay to the left. I'm going to readjust myself back onto my mat. If I did many more of them, I'd be over there. So your left knee presses down to the floor. Right knee at 90 degrees, again your knees pointing forward. Right hand comes onto your ankle. Left hand just above the knee. Lift the chest first. Press the left knee down to the floor. When you're ready, just hinge forwards. Oh, that's a little bit tighter than normal. Now again, don't let the background compensate. It's not about going low, it's about trying to maintain good posture, good alignment as you find those stretches. And that just keeps everything else nice and safe. Breathe out each time you sink into your stretch. In breath, lift your chest. Out breath, lets it become a little bit heavier. And a couple more. And then you can progress a little further. So your option now is just to bring the hands forward, straighten your arms and lift the chest. And then you can walk your hands forward to come lower, or ease down onto your forearms. Again, if you're coming down to the forearms, try to be aware that you've not rounded the upper back. So that just feel of pushing the ribs forward. And if that's hard to do, just bring the arms back up straight and think about creating as much space between your ribs and your hips as you can. So just lifting the ribs is going to help to find that stretch, rather than going lower and having to bend into the back. Press the knee down to the floor. Push the chest forwards. Now I've got the hips warmed up and loose. We're going to move into the hamstrings with our band next. So in your own time, when you're ready, just walk your hands back. Bring your feet forward. Grab a hold of your band and place your band around your right foot. Your right leg comes out straight. Left knee's bent. So you want a bit of tension on this band with your right hand. Open the left arm. Nice posture. And then roll back. Nice controlled lower. Perfect. Now the left knee is bent. From here, we can start to circle the right foot. So using the band, just starting to circle the foot around the hip. Starting small and working on trying to keep the leg straight. Now if you can't get the foot all the way up here, that's fine. Bring it lower, but still moving a circular action. Bit by bit you're making the circle bigger. Don't worry if the left leg's moving, it probably will. This is more about getting around that right hip. And so let that work out if you want it. That bicep curls, you pull that leg in now a little bit further. Give me 2 more circles around in this direction. And then let's go back to small. So start from the centre, go the opposite way around. And again, don't go straight into a big circle, start small. So give those deeper muscles, the smaller muscles, a little bit of attention. Let them start to relax and stretch. And then start to move into the bigger muscles. Again, don't worry about the left leg moving, that's fine, as long as you're getting this one moving. And again, always trying to keep it fairly straight, so that squeeze right up the front of your thigh. Maybe pulling it in a little bit further. Again, a great chance for an arm workout. And then in the centre, resting, holding. Take a strap in each hand. Pull the shoulders down to the floor and then just ease your leg backwards and forwards. Try not to let the leg bend at this point. So again, even if you're just working down here, that's fine. The main thing is the leg stays straight. And notice your lower back. You have little pockets of air underneath your lower back, that natural curve. And each time you pull your leg in, you're trying to maintain that little pocket of air, so you're not pushing the back into the floor. So it helps think about gently pressing the tailbone down to the floor. And that helps keep the pelvis still, and it allows much more stretch then to come into the hamstrings. Breathing out each time as you pull that leg back. 2 more. And your last one. Hold it here. Walk your hands a little higher up the strap. Hold the shoulders back. Now push up into the heel. Press down into your bottom. And not to a point of pain, but just feeling that you're holding the stretch right down the back of your thigh and across the back of your knee. On a scale of 1 to 10, you want to be about a 5. If it feels you're edging up to an 8 or a 9, then your muscles will relax. So you've got to let your muscles know it's all nice and safe. Lots of breath to encourage the muscles to relax. And then you can take your opposite leg out straight. See how that helps to stretch the muscles more. Press down with the tailbone. So you can ease the leg a little further back in your own time. Again, not forcing, just lots of time, lots of patience, and definitely lots of breath. Okay, when you're ready, bend the left knee again. Take your band into your right hand, and you're going to gently bring the right leg out to the side. Try and keep the left knee still, or you can take the left knee, imagine your knees pointed at 12 o'clock, take it out to about 2 o'clock. That's going to help to keep the pelvis in place as you bring your leg out to the side. So what you don't want to do is be rolling over to this right leg. So you can counterbalance with that left knee. Press the tailbone to the floor. Again, gently squeeze the front of the thigh so you're aiming for a nice straight leg. Let the breath come down to that inner thigh. With the out breath, letting the leg sink a little bit further. And again, just allow that stretch to come. And using your breath to allow it to go. And then when you're ready, use the band, pull the leg back into the centre. Now you can take your band into your left hand and take the leg over to the left. Your left knee stays bent and comes down towards the floor. But your right shoulder, we're trying to draw back and encourage the shoulder down to the ground. Now again, as you're keeping this top leg, this right leg straight, hopefully you're feeling more stretch around the outer thigh and the hip. And think about the back of the ribs, pressing the back of the ribs down to the floor. Breathing in. As you breathe out, you can move the leg a little, up and down, like you're pulling your foot up towards the head. And hopefully as you do that, hip flat as earlier, all those muscles around those hips that we worked really, really hard, they also get a nice bit of stretch too. 3 more. 2. And your last one. Pull the leg back into the centre. Left knee comes in and release your band. Let's do all that again on the other side. So when you're ready, band around your left foot, push the left leg out straight, shoulders press to the ground, both straps of your band in your left hand, and then when you're ready, we're going to start with the circles. Oh, this one's a little bit tighter. And again, as you're starting to circle your foot around the hip, imagine it's circling around a clock face. And you're trying to find every digit on that clock. And again, it's getting bigger each time. Not forcing it, just gently encouraging. Again, try and imagine that pocket of air under your lower back still. As you're moving the leg around, you're trying not to press the back down into the floor. Use the arm. Little bicep workout. And then let's change direction. So back into the centre, start small, just easing around. A little bit bigger each time. Mine is nothing like a circle right now. It's like a square clock face. You can get square clocks, I've seen them. And then go a little bit bigger each time. And in the breath. To move with the leg. And a couple more. And then staying in the centre. So just hold on to your leg, hold on to the straps, shoulders down to the floor, and just ease the leg in and out. And as you're easing the leg backwards and forwards, remember you're trying to still save that little pocket of air underneath your lower back. So it does help to press the tailbone into the floor. Your leg won't move as far, but you'll feel the stretch earlier, and that's what it's about, is finding the stretch. Because all that happens is other parts of your body move to make it feel like you're making it bigger. That's not important. It's important to just feel the stretch, even if it's a tiny, tiny movement. Breathe out each time you ease the leg back. And give me a couple more. And then we're going to take the band into the right hand, left hand, sorry. So from the left hand, you're going to take your right knee slightly out to the side to counterbalance if you need to, and let the left leg ease out to the side. Weight of the leg sink into the floor, Almost rock your weight back into your right buttock so you press your right hip into the floor. Breathe in, and then breathing out, let it go a little bit heavier. Gently draw the ribs down, press the shoulders down, little tuck in with the chin. Nice big breath in. And then when you're ready, let's pull that leg back into the centre. Take your band into your right hand, and then you're going to let your right knee come down to the floor and your left leg come across. That should bring the stretch here into the hip, into the outer thigh. Pull the left shoulder back onto the ground. Let your right leg become heavy, let it sink. Find the breath again. Let it be heavy with each out breath. And maybe just pull that leg slightly up and down. So just gently encouraging it up towards the head. It's not a big movement, it doesn't need to be, but it does help to deepen that stretch quite a lot. And give me a couple more there. And your last one. With the band, pull the leg back into the centre. Opposite knee comes in. Place both feet into the band, feet together, and then just pull the legs gently back. Now this time you can start to stretch into the back and allow your bottom to ever so gently lift. But when you release the legs, try and roll down through your spine. And again. Gentle squeeze through the front of the thighs, nice strong straight legs. 4 to go. 2. And your last one. And then pulling up into seated and bend your knees. Okay, from here you should take your feet just a little bit wider than the hips. Hands go through the middle. So you go down the centre between your thighs, out around the ankles, let the knees gently press out. You can almost press them out with your shoulders, and then draw the belly back to the spine and tuck your chin right in towards your chest. Draw the shoulder blades down to the back of the ribs. Nice big breath in and feel like you're broadening your upper back. And as you breathe out, just let the knees press a little wider if you can, maybe ease a little further forwards. And then release the hands, bring the knees back into the centre. Coming onto all fours. So we're going to work our way back up, bringing the knees in under the hips, hands in under the shoulders. To begin with, we're just going to lift the knees off the ground. Then you're going to pull your hips back to your heels. And then push forward, knees to floor, and chest comes forward. So we lift the belly up, come back onto the heels, and then knees forward, and then push your chest forward. So we take a cat stretch, we push back to the heels, we come back to all fours, and then push the chest forward. 2 more. So it's just encouraging the stretch, movement, and lots of mobility into the spine. One last time. And a little bit of work for the shoulders too. With your last one, pull the hips back to the heels, press the heels towards the floor, and just walk your feet. One heel lifts, and the other one presses down. You're moving from one foot to the other, trying to keep the hips nice and still. And a couple more on each side. And then lift both of your heels. So both heels lift, and then both heels press down, lift your toes. Lift both heels again, press back into the heels. And once more. And this time as you lift your heels, bend your knees. Step your feet forward, heels under the hips, head hanging, belly lifting, and your chin tucking in. Draw the belly to the spine, take a breath in, use your out breath and reset. Chin tucking in, rolling all the way up through the spine. The head gets to lift, And the shoulders, just get some melt back and down. Standing up nice and tall, and just have a little wrap from side to side. The hips staying square to the front, the head and shoulders turning. And once more each way. And then resting in the centre. Big shoulder circles. So pulling both elbows down towards the back of the ribs. Feel the shoulder blades pull down away from your ears. And one more. Breathe in with the lift. And let it go. And give yourselves a clap, ladies. Well worked. Well stretched. I needed that.